In the summer of 1587, a bold expedition set sail from England, led by the determined governor John White. Their destination? The uncharted shores of the New World. Their goal? To establish a new colony on Roanoke Island, nestled off the coast of what we now call North Carolina. As their ships anchored on the serene waters of Roanoke Island, the settlers, a diverse group of men, women, and children, prepared to embark on a new chapter of their lives. The island, covered in dense forests and surrounded by the vast, untamed ocean, was a land of both promise and challenge. With great hope and anticipation, they set to work building their new home. The settlers envisioned a thriving community where they could carve out a new existence amidst the raw beauty of this untamed land. They constructed dwellings, cleared land, and began to explore their new surroundings, eager to lay the foundations for what they hoped would be a prosperous future. But the new world was not without its perils. The settlers faced the harsh realities of their environment, from unpredictable weather to the challenges of building a settlement in unfamiliar territory. As they worked to establish their colony, they were also confronted with the complexities of their relationship with the local Native American tribes, whose land they had now come to inhabit. This was the beginning of the Roanoke Colony, a bold endeavor in the age of exploration, set against the backdrop of an uncharted and mysterious land. Little did they know that their venture would soon become one of history's greatest enigmas. The Roanoke Colony was more than just a settlement. It was a strategic move in the grand scheme of European exploration and colonization. Established in 1587, its primary purpose was to act as a pivotal base for further exploration and expansion in the New World. At the heart of this ambitious endeavor was the vision to create a foothold in America, a stepping stone for future voyages and settlements. The colonists were tasked with laying the groundwork for what would become a thriving hub of exploration and trade. Their presence on Roanoke Island was intended to facilitate deeper exploration into the continent, establishing connections with potential allies and resources. This outpost was designed to be a gateway for England's ambitions in the New World, helping to secure territories and pave the way for future colonists. It was a bold attempt to claim a piece of the vast untamed land, setting the stage for a new era of exploration and colonization. The Roanoke Colony was not just a settlement. It was a bold statement of England's intent to establish a lasting presence in the Americas, with hopes of unlocking the region's potential for wealth, resources, and influence. As the English ships finally docked on the shores of Roanoke Island in 1587, the settlers disembarked, filled with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. This group of brave pioneers, consisting of men, women, and children, faced the daunting task of transforming this wild, uncharted land into a thriving community. Their first priority was to establish a secure and comfortable home amidst the dense forests and vast open spaces. With determination and grit, they began the construction of their new settlement. The settlers worked tirelessly, building sturdy homes, clearing land, and setting up essential structures to support their daily lives. Everyday tasks ranged from constructing shelters to cultivating the land as they sought to create a self-sustaining environment. They built a small fort for protection and began to lay out the foundation for a burgeoning colony. The settlers were not only building structures but also forging a new way of life. They adapted to their surroundings, learned to navigate the challenges of the environment, and started to form the social and economic systems that would define their new community. With each passing day, the once empty land began to take shape as a nascent settlement, reflecting their hopes and aspirations for a new beginning in the New World. It was a time of great endeavor as these early colonists worked to carve out their place in history. Despite their hopeful beginnings, the settlers of the Roanoke Colony soon encountered a series of formidable challenges that threatened their survival. One of the most pressing issues was food shortages. The settlers, unprepared for the harsh realities of their new environment, struggled to secure enough provisions to sustain themselves. Their attempts at farming were met with difficulties, and the resources they had brought with them dwindled rapidly. Compounding their struggles were conflicts with local Native American tribes. Relations with the indigenous people were strained, as cultural misunderstandings and disputes over land created tension. The colonists faced occasional hostilities that further complicated their efforts to establish a stable settlement. The environment itself presented its own set of harsh conditions. The dense forests, unpredictable weather, and unfamiliar terrain made everyday life challenging. The settlers had to contend with extreme weather conditions, from sweltering heat to sudden storms, which tested their resilience and resourcefulness. These hardships began to take a toll on the colony as the settlers grappled with the stark realities of life in the New World. Despite their best efforts, the challenges they faced were relentless, and the struggle for survival became an ever-present part of their daily existence. As the harsh realities of life on Roanoke Island began to weigh heavily on the settlers, it became clear that additional support was crucial for the survival and success of the colony. Governor John White, recognizing the urgent need for more supplies and reinforcements, made the difficult decision to return to England in 1587. The journey back was not just a matter of seeking aid. It was a critical mission to secure vital resources that the settlers desperately needed. Supplies were running low, and the colony required essential provisions to sustain its inhabitants, including food, tools, and equipment. Additionally, reinforcements in the form of new settlers and skilled craftsmen were necessary to bolster the struggling community. John White's return to England was marked by a sense of urgency. The voyage was long and treacherous, but the fate of the colony depended on his success. He hoped to gather the necessary resources quickly and return to Roanoke Island to continue the mission of establishing a thriving English presence in the New World. However, the challenges of the time were formidable. The Anglo-Spanish War created delays and complications, preventing White from returning to his colony as swiftly as he had planned. The settlers were left waiting on Roanoke Island, with their future uncertain and their supplies dwindling. John White's mission to procure supplies and reinforcements for the Roanoke colony faced unexpected and severe delays. The Anglo-Spanish War, a major conflict between England and Spain, cast a long shadow over his efforts. As White worked tirelessly to gather the necessary provisions and reinforcements, the turbulent political climate made his return increasingly complicated. The war disrupted trade routes and naval operations, causing significant delays. The long-awaited voyage back to Roanoke Island was fraught with challenges. Ships were commandeered for military purposes, and the priority of wartime logistics overshadowed the urgent needs of the struggling colony. By the time White was finally able to set sail again, several years had passed. His return to Roanoke was postponed until 1590, a full 3 years after he had first left the colony. The prolonged absence only deepened the uncertainty and concern for the settlers who had been left behind, their fate hanging in the balance as the world around them changed dramatically. After years of anticipation and countless trials, John White finally made his way back to Roanoke Island in 1590. The journey had been arduous, filled with delays and setbacks, but the true challenge awaited him upon his arrival. As White's ships approached the shores of Roanoke Island, he hoped to find the colony flourishing or, at the very least, intact. However, what he discovered was a scene of complete desolation. The once bustling settlement was now eerily silent and entirely abandoned. The structures that had been erected with so much hope were now in disrepair, overgrown with vegetation and showing signs of neglect. There were no traces of the settlers who had once called this place home. The absence of life and activity was palpable, and the emptiness of the island seemed to echo the unanswered questions that White was left with. In the midst of this haunting silence, White found the only clue left behind: the word CROATOAN carved into a post and crow etched into a tree. This cryptic message offered little comfort, hinting at the possible whereabouts of the settlers, but leaving their fate shrouded in mystery. Amid the desolation of Roanoke Island, John White stumbled upon the sole clue left behind by the vanished settlers. As he surveyed the abandoned colony, his eyes were drawn to a weathered post standing alone amidst the overgrown ruins. Carved into the post was the word CROATOAN, a name that resonated with both mystery and hope. It was the name of a nearby Native American tribe, suggesting that the settlers might have sought refuge with them or relocated to their territory. Further investigation revealed another cryptic message, the letters CRO carved into a tree. This partial inscription, barely visible and half obscured by time, offered a tantalizing hint but no clear answers. The fragment of the message seemed to confirm that the full word CROATOAN was significant, but its meaning remained elusive. These sparse, enigmatic markings were all that remained to unravel the fate of the Roanoke Colony. They left John White and the world grappling with unanswered questions and a haunting mystery that endures to this day. One intriguing theory surrounding the disappearance of the Roanoke Colony suggests that the settlers may have been absorbed into local Native American tribes. As John White and his crew searched for answers, this theory emerged as a plausible explanation for the colony's mysterious fate. According to this theory, the settlers, facing severe shortages and mounting difficulties, might have sought refuge with the nearby Native American tribes, such as the CROATOAN tribe, whose name was carved into the post found by White. The CROATOAN people living along the coast were known to have had contact with earlier explorers and might have offered the settlers sanctuary. Over time, the theory posits that the English colonists could have integrated into the tribe, adopting their customs and way of life. The cultural and linguistic barriers between the settlers and the Native Americans could have gradually diminished, leading to their eventual assimilation. This theory is supported by accounts from later European explorers and settlers who reported sightings of individuals with European features among the Native American tribes in the region. However, concrete evidence remains elusive, leaving this theory as one of many attempts to solve the enduring mystery of the Roanoke Colony. Another intriguing possibility in the mystery of the Roanoke Colony is the theory that the settlers may have relocated to a different location and left behind the cryptic message as a way to signal their new whereabouts. According to this theory, the settlers, faced with overwhelming challenges such as food shortages and conflicts, might have decided to move their settlement to a more hospitable area. In their attempt to communicate their new location to any future visitors or rescuers, they carved the word CROATOAN into a post and CRO into a tree, hoping it would serve as a guide to their new home. This theory suggests that the message was intended as a directional hint, pointing towards the nearby CROATOAN Island, where the settlers might have sought refuge. The partial message, CRO, could have been meant to indicate the start of the full name, hinting at their new destination. Despite this plausible explanation, no further evidence has been found to confirm the settlers' new location, leaving this theory as a compelling but unverified possibility in the ongoing quest to solve the Roanoke Colony mystery. Among the many theories about the fate of the Roanoke Colony, one of the most somber possibilities is that disease or starvation may have led to the settlers' demise. The harsh conditions on Roanoke Island posed numerous challenges for the early colonists. The settlers struggled with inadequate food supplies and faced the relentless difficulty of establishing a new settlement in an unfamiliar environment. These hardships were compounded by the limited resources they had brought with them, which quickly dwindled. Disease, a common and devastating factor in early colonial life, could have also played a critical role. Without access to modern medicine or a clear understanding of disease prevention, the settlers were vulnerable to illnesses that could spread rapidly in close quarters, exacerbated by malnutrition and the stress of their situation. Starvation was a very real threat. The colonists' initial attempts at farming proved difficult, and their isolation made it challenging to obtain additional food supplies. As their provisions dwindled and their ability to sustain themselves became increasingly strained, the possibility of starvation became a looming danger. Together, these factors, disease, starvation, and the relentless struggle for survival, could have contributed to the eventual disappearance of the Roanoke Colony, leaving behind a haunting mystery and a tragic chapter in early American history. Another theory that adds a layer of intrigue to the mystery of the Roanoke Colony involves the possibility of hostile encounters with either European explorers or local Native American tribes. During the late 16th century, European exploration and colonization efforts were intensely competitive and often aggressive. It's plausible that the Roanoke settlers, isolated and vulnerable, might have faced threats from rival European factions who viewed the colony as an obstacle or a prize. Conflict with local Native American tribes is also a potential factor. The relationships between the settlers and the indigenous peoples were complex and, at times, strained. Misunderstandings, territorial disputes, or outright hostilities could have led to violent confrontations. The colonists, unprepared for such conflicts, might have been forced to defend themselves or even retreat. If such encounters were severe, they could have resulted in significant casualties or forced the settlers to abandon their colony in search of safety. The evidence for this theory is speculative, but remains a plausible explanation for the colony's sudden disappearance. The mystery of the Roanoke Colony is enriched by these possibilities, painting a picture of a tumultuous period marked by both external and internal pressures that may have contributed to the colony's fate. Despite countless investigations and extensive archaeological efforts, the fate of the Roanoke Colony remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. Over the years, researchers, historians, and archaeologists have dedicated significant resources to uncovering the truth behind the colony's disappearance. Excavations, historical analyses, and the study of surviving records have provided intriguing clues but no definitive answers. Excavations on Roanoke Island and its surroundings have yielded artifacts and remnants of the early settlement, but these discoveries have yet to reveal a clear resolution to the mystery. Researchers continue to explore every possible lead, from examining old maps and records to analyzing soil samples and searching for hidden clues in the landscape. The cryptic messages left behind by the settlers, including the word CROATOAN carved into a post, continue to be a focal point of investigation. They hint at potential connections to nearby Native American tribes or hidden locations, but the full story remains elusive. As technology advances and new methodologies emerge, the quest to solve the mystery of the Roanoke Colony continues. Each new discovery brings hope and excitement, yet the enigmatic disappearance of the settlers endures, leaving us with a captivating and unresolved chapter in the story of early American history. The enduring mystery of the Roanoke Colony has captivated the imagination of historians, archaeologists, and the public alike, leaving an indelible mark on cultural and historical discourse. Since its disappearance, the Roanoke Colony has inspired a wealth of theories, stories, and speculative narratives. The enigmatic clues left behind, such as the word CROATOAN carved into a post, have sparked a flurry of research and debate, fueling a fascination with this unresolved chapter of American history. The colony's disappearance has been the subject of countless books, documentaries, and fictionalized accounts. Its story has become a staple of American folklore and a compelling case study in the annals of exploration and colonial history. The mystery also resonates in popular culture, influencing movies, television shows, and even conspiracy theories. The dramatic nature of the colony's fate, disappearance without a trace, provides fertile ground for storytelling and speculation, blending historical fact with creative imagination. As new discoveries and research continue to emerge, the Roanoke Colony's legacy endures, a testament to the intrigue and fascination it holds for those who seek to unravel its secrets. Its impact is felt across multiple fields, reflecting the deep human desire to understand and connect with the past. The disappearance of the Roanoke Colony remains a powerful symbol of the challenges and mysteries that defined early American colonization. Despite over 4 centuries of investigation, the fate of the Roanoke settlers continues to intrigue and elude historians and researchers. The colony's Vanishing Act has become emblematic of the broader difficulties faced by early colonists: the harsh environment, conflicts with indigenous peoples, and the unpredictable nature of establishing a new settlement. The Roanoke Colony's legacy is reflected in its persistent allure as a historical enigma. It serves as a poignant reminder of the perils faced by those who ventured into the unknown in search of new opportunities. The colony's story underscores the courage and resilience required of early settlers, as well as the uncertainties that accompanied their endeavors. Moreover, the mystery of Roanoke has spurred ongoing research and exploration, driving advancements in archaeology and historical analysis. It challenges us to consider the broader context of colonization and the human stories intertwined with these early attempts at settlement. In the end, the legacy of the Roanoke Colony is a testament to the enduring quest for understanding and the profound impact of history on our collective imagination. It remains a compelling chapter in the story of early America, symbolizing both the promise and perils of exploration.